Before we get any further, this video contains spoilers for The Bad Batch Season 2, Episode 10. If you haven't seen it yet, we highly recommend you head on over to Disney Plus and watch it before continuing with the video. If you're all caught up or just don't care, let's dive right in.
Attention, Sergeant on deck!
10 episodes into this new season, we don't have many new developments to talk about. In this episode, our titular protagonists catch up with their stolen ship, infiltrate a colony of miners being financially abused by a Zygerian who's eaten good, uncover the truth behind his abuse, and fly off into the distance, leaving behind a healthy workers' cooperative mining business. Good times are had by all. What really stood out to us in this episode, however, was the way the mining business actually worked. This mine seemed to be operated by a small team who actively worked the tunnels, which goes against every mining operation depicted in Star Wars media. In today's video, we're going to take a closer look at mining in the galaxy, how it worked, and how that affected the galactic power dynamic. Mining, as everyone knows, thanks to Minecraft, is the process of digging into rock to extract minerals, metals, and more. It's a crucial part of any economy, as it's the only real way to get the ores necessary for most industrial constructs like sabacc tables and starfighters. In the Star Wars universe, there were dozens of ores and minerals scattered throughout the galaxy. Some, like carbon and desh, could be found almost everywhere, while others, like Beskar and Cortosis, were only found on 1 or 2 planets. This makes sense if you consider the different elemental makeup of each planet. To extract these ores, miners had to rely on a wide variety of tools. For asteroid farming, corporations like the Corellia Mining Corporation built automated mining facilities to extract minerals from the asteroid. These were necessary when it was impractical for organics or droids to perform the extractions themselves. Other such tools, such as the plasma jet mole miners, were also designed to operate in the vacuum of space. The king of all space mining, however, was the Corellian Engineering Corporation's Y-8 mining vessel, a titan built to withstand meteor crashes and pirate attacks while it mined entire asteroid belts. When it came to planetary mining, a mining facility or barge was set up near the entrance to the mine, but the mine itself was carved directly out of the environment. For this, miners relied on heavy excavation machines such as the autonomic crust piercer to bore into the planetary crust. Once the initial mine had been carved out, droids could then be sent into the hole to continue excavation. Different corporations came out with different models, such as the 1117 series mining droid, the PKN-49 worker droid, the DLC-13 mining droid, excavation droids, and many more. These droids were designed to tirelessly bore away at the mine shaft, expanding it further in search of ore deposits that the droids could then extract. Some, like the Q4 borer droid, were designed to operate at the bottom of the ocean. But mining wasn't always automated. In several cases, whether that was because specialized droids were too expensive or the ore being mined was too volatile, organic miners had to take on the task of descending into the darkness to excavate the minerals by hand. For this, they relied on certain organic operated drills or handheld tools, like the laser cutters we saw the Bad Batch use in these last 2 episodes to extract the Ipsium. Storage was also an important factor. We saw the Bad Batch use canisters to store and transport the Ipsium, but for larger ore deposits, machines were used to carry heavy loads out of the mines and into the facility for processing and export. Some vessels, such as the AEA 500 prospecting craft, were used to transport miners, diggers, and cargo in and out of mines. That said, mines were a hazardous place. The top priority was production, not safety, and when you consider how much was at stake, it makes a little more sense. The search for new ores had always been a huge incentive for galactic exploration. New ores meant new advances in technology. In times of peace, that could mean better materials, more advanced electronics, or more efficient fuel. During wartime, it could mean stronger starship hulls or more destructive weapons. No matter what was going on in the galaxy, mining was a crucial part of it, which is why ore-rich mining worlds were so important. You've probably heard of several key mining worlds, like Bespin, Ilum, or Kessel. Control over these worlds meant control over the resources they provided, which unfortunately also meant they were often some of the first worlds targeted during wartime. During the Clone Wars, we saw the Republic and Confederacy of Independent Systems fight over many a mining world. In some cases, like with the Traken, both factions decided that if they couldn't have it, it was better to destroy it than leave it for the other. That's how crucial control of these rich ore deposits was to their mutual war efforts. Because of this, mining operations were usually nationalized or at least controlled by the financial elite of their society. Whether they were owned by the government, a mining guild, or a wealthy individual, the mines operated under a traditional hierarchy. The overseers ensured that the mines were safe, sometimes, and oversaw operations. The foreman oversaw structural integrity, and the miners themselves delved deep into the crust of the planet in search of minerals. Yep, there were lots of deaths, but safety wasn't always a priority, especially when these mines were out in the rim or controlled by greedy industrialists. This, in part, is what makes the mine in this week's episode so interesting. Unlike every other source we have, it seems that this unknown world doesn't have nationalized mines, or they're owned by some business tycoon. Instead, the mines were owned and operated by the workers themselves, who were in charge of preparing, digging out, and excavating the mines for ore. Once they had it, they would sell it themselves and use the profits to cover their basic needs. We've never seen this model of co-ownership before, and to be honest, it's a refreshing take of the usual corporate bullshit we see everywhere else. For once, we see a tight-knit community using the resources for their own gain, which was rarely the case in Star Wars. Regardless of whether mines were owned by the government or some rich tycoon, those resources almost never went to the workers or even the local economy. In places like the Outer Rim, resources were scarce. Not ores, but things like water and rations. In this episode, we saw just how much of a struggle it was for those miners to find food and water. Their situation wasn't unique, unfortunately. On many worlds the galaxy over, the elite stripped their worlds of resources and used them for their personal gain, while the vast majority of people suffered in abject poverty. The elite then used their wealth to keep the poor working for the promise of meeting their basic needs. This wasn't a matter of Republic versus the CIS or even the Empire. This was just greed and the way it was used to exploit people and the natural world. As Omega said at the end of the episode, the Empire isn't the only threat. We've seen so many in the galaxy like Moko. Greed is a vicious cycle that can lead to resource exhaustion, resource guarding, and suffering, which all lead to new wars. Wars, of course, lead to scarcity, and the cycle is repeated again and again. But as Tech said, there are many out there fighting to correct injustice, and at least that's something. But what do you think? Do you also find this sort of topic interesting? What other sectors of industry would you like us to talk about in the future? What did you think of today's Bad Batch episode? Let us know all that and more in the comments section below. And as always guys, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.